if you're a big fan of Lies of Locke Lamora, I think this kind of can scratch that itch.
It's a fast-paced romp. I did like it overall. It was fun.
So did I. Welcome everyone to the Tutor Round podcast. My name is Richard.
My name is Austin.
Today we're reviewing a book. This is our 8th book of reviewing the SPF BO winners.
Yes.
This is the very first winner, the book that started the whole competition. Now, this is The Thief Who Pulled on Trouble's Braids by Michael McClung.
Yes.
Now, this won the very first award, SPF BO winner, in, what was it, 2013?
In 2015.
2015,
the book
but
was
written in 2012.
Yeah, the book was written in 2012. This won in 2015, and this is Mark Lawrence's competition that Rich and I are a part of, where we're judging all of the winners of the past 10 years. And again, like you said, this is the 8th one. We're judging and ranking, and we're giving spoiler-free thoughts on it first.
Yep.
Spoiler-free first.
Spoiler-free thoughts, and then we're going to go into the plot snapshot, then full spoilers. We'll warn you when it's time.
Yes.
But Austin, can you give us any more details about the book?
Yes, this is a fast-paced romp for this book, Thief Who Pulled on Trouble's Braids, where our main character, Amira, she's in this thievery world where there's magic and dogs, and she runs into her somewhat friend acquaintance in the businesses, Corbin. Corbin, who says, hey, here, take this thing. I got somebody I'm meeting later today. Just hold on to this for a second and watch over my dog. I'll be back. And he dies. And Corbin dies, and now she has this thing, and she's going, well, Corbin, she's not in love with the guy. He's a bit of this wise guy not womanizer, but, as close as you can possibly get. Maybe he is.
He's a womanizer.
Pretty much. Yeah. We don't see much of him because he dies very early on, and she is now pulled into this quest of finding out who killed him, why, what's going on here. And that's your setup of the story. And if you like your more fast-paced romps, action, and just a straightforward story, not in a degrading way, just it's very quick, and the chapters are fast too. It's also a very short book as well. So if people want to pick up a quick read, I did like it overall. It was fun.
So did I. I did quite like it. Now, I think a big part of this, the reason why I liked it is it was the right length for the right type of book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of it's not trying to go for something else and then misses the mark. No, it's going for a really fun action adventure. Little bit of mystery added into it with some actually more endearing characters of well-written characters.
Yeah, your main character, Amira, it's the archetype you've seen before of that lead cast who's a bit edgy, and there's this one line that really got me connected to her character where she was talking about how guys have been in and out of her house. The guys never stayed. Her knives did. She's got knives all over her house. And Michael McClung paints a really good picture for this, what is an archetypal character, but written in a fun way that makes her both believable and rooted in the story. The protagonist, nothing special, nothing crazy, but you'll get the type right away, and the character voice very early on, and you could follow.
This character is very similar to the female main character of what is the multiple Britons, multiple
Darker Shade of Magic.
Darker Shade of Magic. Similar archetype of almost feels like 1-to-1 type of character, but Amira. Hey, names are hard. Amira is significantly better.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed her character a lot more than the one in A Darker Shade of Magic.
Agreed. What do you think about the book as well? What would you say spoiler free for people who would want to pick it up or not, and expectations to set?
Sure. It's a fun short mystery with good action. I think the best aspect of the book is both the world and the characters. The characters are enjoyable to follow, and I think the world adds enough mystery that gets you wanting to know, hey, well, what's the come? What's the next book? It asks enough questions, leaves it ambiguous enough without, it doesn't over-explain, but also gives you enough. It sets the tone correctly.
Yeah, the world has the reveals you get, you don't get a lot of the details. I ask a lot of questions. And how I'd explain it is the world at first, especially getting our point of view from Amira, feels urban fantasy, but there's an epic fantasy underlaying in the backdrop. There's an epic fantasy world, but we're getting the more urban, close-up, zoomed-in version in this story.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the questions you get of all this epic fantasy stuff going on. This is not an epic fantasy, but you get droppings of it. Like, oh, there's a lot more going on here. That's cool. So I gave the book a 3.5 star. Good.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.25. Somewhat good. Yeah.
Neat. Yeah. Our category breakdown is here down below. Now, to set people's expectation too, you say somewhat good, I say good. Yeah, this isn't, you got to go read this right now for me. But I think if it hits the right reader, this could be something, and a quick in-between read, an in-between book that if you're looking for a different tone and style, looking for more entertainment, this one will hit a fix for a lot of people, I think.
I agree.
And for others, here's the overall rating it had in 2015 when the book was in the competition. And one, it got an average of an 8 overall. The highest rating was from Fantasy Book Review, who gave it a 9. And then the lowest was from Elitist Book Reviews, who gave it a 6.5. And I'm going to double check that because I want to make sure I didn't get the person that gave it a 9 wrong. All right, and we're back. Yes, I did get that wrong. It was the Speculative Book Review that gave it a 9, and Bookworm Blues gave it a 6.5.
Got it.
Yes, want to make sure I didn't get the name wrong for who gave it that score. So that was your range of scores. And the second book that year got a 7.75 overall, shy of the 8 overall that where this one won. So what does that mean for us, Rich? Of where does this rank?
I don't know. You have the list.
I do have the list. Okay. And let me do some calculations. We'll be right back. Okay. So here it is. We got 3.5 and a 3.5, 3.25. That makes it a 7.75. Yes? Yes?
No.
What? Oh, 6.75. What a dumbass. Oh my God. Keep that in, Nick. I don't deserve to get that cut out. That's a 6. Is that a 6.75?
I really could have answered that, like giving you the correct answer, but I thought just no was
that's
sufficient.
That's a 6.75. So with that total score, that comes in just shy of our total of a 7 for where loyalties lie, which was a 7 out of 10. So this one is now in 5th place of 8. It's above Small Miracles and below Where Loyalties Lie.
That sounds about right. I am satisfied with that.
Me too. So The Thief Who Pulled on Trouble's Blade, number 5 for us. We still have 2 more books to read. We'll see where it ends up placing overall, but that is that.
Sounds good. All right.
So that's where it placed. We got all that done. Anything else you want to say in spoiler free?
Spoiler 3, if you're a big fan of Lies of Locke Lamora, I think this kind of can scratch that itch. It's a similar setting, similar type of characters and storytelling. So if you like that, you may want to check this out.
All right, let's do it then. This is your spoiler warning. Click off if you do not want to be spoiled about this book, okay? Warning, warning, warning. Plot snapshot.
Let's
talk about it.
Okay.
So that inciting incident, so Corbin's dead. She's like, what is this toad?
Yes. Amira has this weird golden toad from Corbin and is now going around. She's fairly determined, like, hey, I'm going to try and find the person who killed Corbin. Her investigation leads her through multiple encounters, including Baron Oskill, who is Corbin's brother. She gets caught by the coppas, and then she can sense some type of magic, so she goes over to Holgren, the local magician that she's had some dealings with, to have him remove the tracking spell that the detective or Inspector Kluge put on her.
Inspector Kluge, I like it.
This is important to say, it is Amira and Holgren's kind of story. They're a little buddy cop duo. And so Amira then tries to basically because she knows who set the contract out to get this golden toad from Corbin. She goes and investigates that house. It's some rich landlord owner. And so She breaks into the house, finds out some magic bullshit's going on. She barely escapes, and she finds she's torn between that and the person who contracted the whole thief, the whole heist to get this golden toad and whatever's inside, and then there's also the coppers. The inspector is on her tail. Then there's what comes around to it is the Red Hand, this deity figure that also wants this golden toad. And so
a lot of people want this.
A lot of people want it. I'm trying to like really shorten it down with like try and condense more of the
midpoint
things.
through shenanigans. She ends up want to get to the midpoint where she ends up in prison.
She ends up in prison. She's by Inspector Kluge. The Baron Oskil brings her out of jail after she shows that she was a genuine friend to Corbin, and they work together to actually
and that's
take
Corbin's brother.
Yep. Who we find out was also a secret secret baron, or secret nobility. And they then stage a whole siege against the I'm trying to get the actual name right. It's Bosch. Bosch is the person in charge. They're trying to make a siege against Bosch. Bosch is actually this weird magician, and they kill a bunch of people. They find they're trying to open up a hell gate. My God, there's a lot. There's a lot of things.
A lot of things happen in this.
A lot of things happen. It's real quick. Like it goes by quick, but there was a lot. Then they fail to kill Bosch officially. There's a hit contract out on her, so people are gunning for her, assassins. Ultimately, it comes down to the Red Hand, this deity god figure, says, "Hey, Amira, give me the toad. There's a weapon."
And she found out that toad has this blade of some goddess in there, 1/8 of the blade. And turns out that this guardian, Amat, is not his name, but Amat's one of those guardian people of this past time before Cataclysm and all this world building stuff. And that blade does...
It could kill gods,
It could kill suns, everything. Yes. And so that's where the Red Hand wants that blade.
Yep. And so after Holgren and Amira kill Bosch, the magician who has been messing with her and made the main contract out on Corbin, ultimately tortured him. Then we get the fight with Amira, Holgren, and the Red Hand, Eris, where basically Amira after the Red Hand kills himself with the sword, Amira grabs up the sword and is able to basically destroy the sword with the sword. She uses the stones to destroy the stones. She has a Thanos moment. And then we find out the ultimate mystery. The person who actually killed Corbin was his spurned lover. This lady of the night who basically Corbin was ditching for the younger, hotter model. Basically, he DiCaprio'd her. And so she got him killed.
Yep.
And then we see Baron Oskil at the very end say, "Yeah, I'm going to basically poison her. I'm going to give her a gift. And then she's going to die a real painful way."
And we'll get into more details now with the full review. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Emotional impact. What'd you give it out of 5 stars?
3.25.
Someone good?
Pretty good. Yeah.
I give it 3.5 good. Matches my overall, matches your overall as well.
Yep.
Yeah, this was what this one's going for. A lot of your action fun. I thought what was done really well in this book for me was the fight scenes, the mages fighting or her in endless fight scenarios, and also following her point of view and just her quirkiness. It actually worked for me too. It in a different book in a different style could come off a little bit off-putting of just eye rolling, but she was so extremely a part of this universe. It was I loved how it took the concept of just not guilds. What's the right word? It took the concept of thievery and bounties and all that kind of I guess you associate with pirates or whatever the context would be. It took it to such a fun extreme. It really leaned into the John Wickiness of it.
Sure.
I'm looking for a synonym, a synonym franchise that's out there. I guess your Jason Bournes, you have your John Wicks. It really leans into that, and it makes it fun.
Yeah, I especially liked the scene where she is going into she's casing and breaking into the mansion.
Yeah.
Of just showing her thought process of going like, yeah, she actually is a very prudent thief. She's not just great at everything. She's prudent. She actually, hey, I need to case the joint. I'm going to be slow, methodical, careful. And that whole setup made it very enjoyable than seeing how she was pushing herself for time, mainly due to personal reasons, rather than doing what she would normally do professionally. And then the emotional heart of it, kind of the little scenes spread out of Amira sees herself as far more jaded and sees herself as a, standoffish figure, very antisocial. It's like, oh, yeah, I don't have friends. Like, I have professional acquaintances. But basically, many people in her life actually do see her as a friend. And that's kind of her journey, figuring out, like, actually, people kind of like me a lot more than I thought. Because I'm not the worst person ever. I actually, keep my promises.
Yeah.
So all of those little scenes I enjoyed, especially with her, and I'm trying to remember the name of the woman who took care of her after she got out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
What was her name?
Starts with an E, that person?
Maybe. I don't think so. Anyway, the woman who's in charge of the stables, who is basically making a the fantasy horse magic drawn bus.
The omnibus, yeah.
The omnibus.
Yeah.
And finding out that Amira actually did save her husband and treats her very kindly, but also not too smotheringly.
Mm-hmm.
And Amira can appreciate it. When she's with her fence, the person who sets her up with gigs, and finding out that he actually did try to get her out of jail, but not overly so. He wasn't. But him just speaking matter-of-factly, and she's like, why would you help me? It's like, you've always kept your agreements. Like, you're a significant part of my business. Why wouldn't I? I don't know. Like, you've never done me wrong, and that's saying something.
Felt like I owed you something, right?
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
So just her finding out that her good character has not gone unnoticed was touching. Those scenes were good.
Yeah, you got to see a lot of these. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna find it. The Skyrim-esque nature of it. I'm gonna find by the end of this video. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. But her going from house to house or place to place and kind of having this collection of acquaintances, friends, ranging from enemies to friends. And it's funny, the one time when now Bosch at the end of the book, and he has Lockwood and has captured Lockwood in the end and has a knife to his throat and is threatening, like, hey, I'm going to start with Lockwood, then everybody you know. And I'm going to go through them all. And she's like, well, I don't even really like Lockwood.
I did like that. She's like,
she goes, well, I mean, okay.
I don't like Lockwood.
And then secondly,
two, I don't have a lover. I don't have any family. I don't even really have that many. I'm just
finding out people kind of like me. So it was fun to see that lighthearted nature of it. Because the book, I guess the emotional moments, was there anything where you were gearing toward was trying to make you cry or anything like that? Or you're more so had this consistent tone of just fun?
I don't think it's trying to go for that. It's not trying to make you, bawl your eyes out.
Yeah.
Like, even like
it's wholesome and
it's not,
this gritty world.
Overplaying Corbin's death, even of Amira sees more as like she liked Corbin well enough, friendly, but she's not bawling her eyes out either, because they haven't this super long connection. But it's more of it's a little bit professional courtesy of like, hey, who's gonna kill? Like, you don't get to kill my buddy. No, but. It's all kept at a little bit of an emotional distance.
You see a bit of the magic where Corbin comes back in that vision scene, and she thinks about him a little bit more. And you get a little bit of that. But I guess if this book could have went higher for you, why was it a 3.25? What would you want more out of this?
More of it, to keep to what the book actually is. I think I would have appreciated a bit more bigger twists in the story that like maybe shocks me or awes me. For the most part, any kind of twists and reveals was not as emotionally shocking. Same thing with any kind of character moment. There wasn't anything deeper that made me really think about it. So I didn't have too much of an emotional journey with the character or any kind of surprise from the plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. I think the big twist with Corbin is, it wasn't the gods. It was just
the spurned lover.
It was a spurned lover. That's the twist on it. What did you see it coming, or just weren't floored by it? What did you think? What did you think of the big crux of, hey, that's the twist?
I wasn't okay. Maybe this is. I think if I thought about it any more than I did, I probably would have saw it coming. But I didn't think about it. But when it came, I was like, I wasn't that floored by it. It was fine. It's like, okay, makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, just a fun time for me. Yeah, same with you as well. There was nothing that exceeded it to make me emote or do anything outside of that. I think the parts I was most emotionally invested in, that of what it's going for, the action, was every action scene written very well and was fun, especially when Bosch and Hagrid. Holgren, sorry. When Holgren, they battled for the first time, and like had his head chopped off and was still blinking, and I'm going, what's going on in this fight scene? There was and a lot of this is another one of the fun quirks that just made the world a bit fun, but emotionally it was cool to see. I think it was with that head. Was it that scene where with that head they like put it into a bag, or just walking around town with it, and people. It gave you a vibe because other people didn't really bat an eye because they want to give the benefit of the doubt. Like, that could be anything. Blood, any type of blood could be leaking out of that bag. Well, and it's not even it's not even a scene that's focused on, really. It's just a cut walk scene, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it is. But it's just her
just going, yeah, people, like, it's the common courtesy. It gives them plausible deniability. They don't want to be involved either.
Yeah.
They just...
Hey, they know bad shit goes on here. They have things to do. All right. They're just going to say, hey, I didn't see the head. I just saw a bag with a bowling ball shape inside it leaking blood. That's okay. It's okay. So a lot of that made it more fun for me. But yeah, good overall. Want to go on to thought-provokingness or anything else? Okay. What did you give thought-provokingness out of 5 stars?
2.75.
Fair.
Slightly disappointing.
I was between an A or rating this, but I think you're right to rate this. I gave it a 3, neutral.
Yeah.
And what's the thing that was slightly disappointing? Somewhat disappointing.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
We got to get
our words right.
Yeah.
What was somewhat disappointing about it?
The somewhat disappointing angle, and it's a slight, but what it's actually going for is basically Amira has to learn to trust others and open up is effectively it, and somewhat power of friendship type of deal. It's okay, but it's not really. There's, for the power of friendship type of deal, it would have been better for, like, there are little moments that she is leaning on others and she's learning to she's more forced to depend on others, but there's no moment when she actually decides to help, like, get others help. She's more of a, for the most part, she's being forced into these scenarios, especially by the end with her confronting the Red Hand. She goes to do it herself, but Holgren does join her. And so, but kind of forcefully. So I would have appreciated maybe a change moment or something a bit more. But even then, it's just,
trust and friendship.
You could have done more. That's all.
Yeah. Would you say that's one of the main themes, is that trust? Anything else there that stuck out to you mainly?
I think that's about it. I mean, is it going for anything else?
Because her stubbornness and her willing to fight, a little bit of that. I think that's the thing for
that's all good stuff.
Yeah,
that's not anything shoe worthy.
Yeah, the thing for me that I guess put it to more neutral about it. The interesting thing to think about, a lot of the emotions that she's describing in the end when taking down the knife, of like, hey, like hate and love are close. It's more apathy and like focusing on your will to not feel. A bit of that in the end when taking down the one of the eighth blade. A bit of that conversation, and especially it being linked back to the human emotion of just envy, of how with all these grand things going on, and there's this cataclysm and gods and Red Hand who's lived 1,700 years. There's all this big kapow, big explosion stuff going on the surface, but the whole mystery just being, hey, it was Corbin. Hey, it was a Corbin lover thing. It was just because of envy. Like, really, all this flashy stuff could be going on, but at the root of it was just, someone was jealous. And I think what it did do well was the just focusing on the human emotion of that was more the core of the story than it was the explosions. I think if it leaned more into the explosions, I would have been like, yeah, pretty disappointed. But again, I'm not giving it good or anything because I do think most of the things of what you're talking about, of the trust and friendship, there's a lot of that more surface level stuff, which, hey, I don't think the story's focused on like, oh, let me say a really profound message about trust.
Yeah.
It's there to serve the character and the story. And the thing that just makes it more interesting for me is that thing of the human motion of envy being focused on and a little bit more. But yeah,
I also do want to say the reason why I'm only saying somewhat disappointed and not actually flawed is there are moments where she is being forced and confronted with having to depend on others when she doesn't seem to want to depend on others.
Right.
Now, on that hand, she also doesn't seem that reluctant to rely on others either. So if she's kind of in the, like, if that's the lesson, she's not really that reluctant in the beginning because she goes immediately when she senses, oh, magic's on me. Like, yep, let me go to Holgren. She goes around and like she does have connections. Keeps it professional. She just doesn't see it going very beyond professional, or at least she doesn't see it herself. But she does lean on others. She, I guess, discovers she kind of has friends. I don't know. It's just way too in the middle for me to give it much more.
A little bit of hers was more so that, is it professional? Is it a coworker or is it a friend?
Yeah.
That seems to be a bit of the question. Are we just doing this for pure business, or are we doing this podcast because we somewhat, yeah, it's a bit of that question.
That's all. That's the eternal question you have to ask with us. Is it purely business, or is
there more?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I related to that question. But yeah, I also did. Yeah, we're close enough anyway. So like the 3.275, it's a 0.25 difference. Let's just say 2.82. Did I get the math right? Is the average of that? I just want to make up for my previous math mistake. God, did I have 5, 6, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 8.25. 8.25. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, character time. You ready?
All right.
Anything else for themes or
nah?
No. Characters. Would you give out 5 stars?
I gave it 3.25.
Somewhat good.
Though
I gave it a 3.5. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. I may want to raise that a little bit higher. The more
2.35.
I think I want to raise that to a 3.5.
Yeah, nice.
Mainly
for
because,
me,
they all. Like, there's no character I would particularly want to change that much. Nothing dragged, as far as the characters go. But why did you give it a 3.5?
So okay, negative first or positive first?
Let's go the positive.
Yeah. Good overall. Yeah, the good overall. Positive first is focuses on Myra and her character, and I think even though these can come across as archetypes, it's the special description of moments each character's given that makes them more unique and makes a Myra rootable and different. I think the author does a really good job at doubling, tripling, quadrupling down at her quirks and her flaws and her wants as well, where how she has her trust issues as well of being in this world, of how she has a knife in every single floorboard and wall to everywhere she has a knife, and just how she is her quips also worked for me as well. So anytime she was talking with not Hagrid, I keep want to say Hagrid, talking with Holgren, and every character she interacts with, of that theme we talked about of her trusting a friend or coworker, she always came across as straight business, and that was rooted in some type of insecurity that you felt throughout the story. So it teetered with this fun play of, hey, we get to have a fun, fast plot because Amira is just no business. Like, let's get to it. But at the same time, this was the thing. It was her battling with, is she helping Corbin because it's just business, or is she helping Corbin because, she kind of... she
liked him. He was a friend.
Was it just the oath of, following the oath of the thieves? Or, is there something more than that? Because there was a key thing at the beginning of the book where Corbin, he's a womanizer, like lady guy, and he'll try to woo everybody. And there was a line where she said, Corbin at one time, tried to feel up on her, and she said no, denied it, and he never did anything again. But she goes, I sometimes sometimes I wish I didn't do that. But no. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit of that
but it was
playfulness.
a small, but it wasn't a deep regret
No,
or
no,
anything.
no.
It was just like
playful. It was just, hey, what if,
and she's going like, on one hand, hey, it's great to have a friend that actually, respects me well enough and is not like pushing my boundaries, but also sometimes I wish he would push my boundaries a little bit. Come on.
And so it was that. It was the constant question of like, she's doing the plot drive for her is it just business or is there more than that? You could always tell the underneath that there is more to it. She's not just that. So it wasn't just a one-dimensional, this is who she is. There was more to it.
Yeah, and part of that is her insecurities. She mentioned about like her scars, like she's a crooked nose and like different. She even like she goes bald in this one.
Yeah,
it's like so she has like these like physical. What is the right word? The
insecurities.
Is physical insecurities,
Yeah,
and so she's not supposed to be like just the most gorgeous woman ever, and then has also these insecurities. Like it seems genuine, like reasonable enough insecurities of why she would develop these insecurities in the first place. But then again, the people surrounding her don't overdo it. There's a real trope that I really don't like where the surrounding characters just layer it on thick of how much they love our main character, that she's just the best at this and she's the best at this and the best of us, and just lays it on a little too thick, where ultimately she's acknowledged as a competent thief. Okay. She's good at what she does. Very professional. And the reason why people like her is not like, oh, she's just the kindest, or, oh, she's just this saint among us, or she's just so good at everything she does. No. She's just an honest thief. She keeps her promises. When she makes a contract, she follows through, and she's not overtly cruel. So when she can help someone and it's, no cost to her particularly, she will. It's like, hey, this person's not involved. I want to. So saves the coach driver or the coach owner because he got stuck with the wrong crowd and she was there. And all these little things that she's just built up a good rapport with people, and people are like, yeah, I'll pay that in kind. Mm-hmm. But that's it. They're not overly praising her, which would have just felt awkward and weird. Yeah. So it just made sense.
It's the better version of Lila, what you were saying in Dark Shade of Magic. Yeah.
What really drew me to this was her fence, her fixer, and they have this playful back and forth, and then her finding out like, hey, you tried to get me out. You tried to get me out of prison. It's
that moment.
I made the attempt. I couldn't do it. it's hard to do that when a noble, but so he's not like, oh, I need to organize a rescue partner.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I tried to bribe the guard to let you out, but
didn't work.
It didn't work. And it's like, why would you even try? It's like, you understand how much business you've done for me? Like, everyone that I work with stabs me in the back at some point or another. You always keep your word. You do the contract. You've always succeeded. You've fulfilled the contract, and then you don't stiff me. So, yeah, of course I'll like. This is an investment. You're an investment. Why would I want you to go away?
The key thing there is that reciprocity of you read a different character like this in Darker Shade. There's so many examples of this. So if somebody likes Darker Shade, just think of a different example where it annoys you, right? Where the character feels undeservingly praised. Of just, hey, you just met this person and you're willing to say, oh, this is the wittiest person I've ever met. Oh my God, can I spend the rest of my life with you? Or they lay their life on, they do something extreme that doesn't seem equal to the amount of wowness that our protagonist represented. Yeah. Because you feel your protagonist should earn that kind of respect and reward or whatever it might be. And in this case, it's all in the background, and just that little small scene where the fixer is saying that means a lot to just show. And that didn't have to be in the book. That's like no. that is there for the character work. And again, back to the theme of the story. So,
and you compare that to the coach drivers, the coach owners of a little bit more. They're going a little bit beyond of the woman of the wife of the coach driver, actually like taking her in of like, nope, like, hey, I'm going to clean up your wounds. I'm going to help you. Like, he's pretty forceful at helping her and really wants to treat her. Like I said, hey, just so you know, there's a room for you under our house anytime. You've helped my husband. You saved his life, but I'm not gonna force you. And so she goes above and beyond, but it makes sense of what she's done for. And the one person where you'll play with it, like with Holgren.
Yeah,
why
does
Holgren? Why
Yeah.
does Holgren? Why is Holgren helping her? He's supposed to be this eccentric mage. Part of it is they've had some business dealings and, respectful. I do think it's probably true that's going to be the budding romance going forward. Like, Holgren probably has a crush on Amira. It's my guess.
Maybe.
But it's not overplayed. It seems far more like just a crush and just slowly developing. And so he's just more interested in her, like, all right. And they also lay it on that these magicians are just eccentric. They do what's fun. He's not doing anything really for the money. He's just doing what's the most interesting.
When she first meets him, too, she walks in there and goes, all this caution she has around Holgren of he could just end her in a second.
Yeah.
She's what Holgren can do. And it's just this weird vibe of, hey, he likes me enough and he's not going to do that. It's just strange to know that a person can do this at any moment. And because the mages are eccentric here.
Yeah.
It just makes it feel more of that, the Baez type of wizard rather than your Gandalf type of wizard,
Yeah. Especially with showing how he doesn't need money and that he just does things that are fun for him and whatever interests him most.
Also, he likes the dog.
He likes the dog. I think he also, because of how weird he is and just, a more shy, introverted person, he also respects the fact that when Amira comes in the house, she's not trying to trick him. She's completely upfront and honest as soon as she gets there. It's like, hey, I may have brought the cops on you.
Another mage is tracking me right now, right?
Another mage is tracking me. I need your help. But also, hey, I have this thing. I don't know. I may be pulling you into something I don't want to. I just want you to be aware of what's going on. So I don't want to lace. Like, I don't want
no miscommunication trope here. We're not doing a miscommunication trope. Here's the information.
Well, she also respects, like, this guy could kill me at a moment's notice. I can't. I'm not going to try and trick him.
No.
And, like, I'm going to be upfront and honest. Take what you will.
And then when she would lie to the antagonist, she would say all the truth except one thing. So she would say, this, here's what happened. Here's how I know Corbin. Here's where we were supposed to meet. And he was supposed to give me a toad, and he didn't give me the toad. Damn it.
Yeah.
She'll just leave. She'll omit one thing to the people who are trying to, kill her and get the information out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, the characters were all good there. Bosch was a fun enough villain.
What could have been better for you then? Because I was going to say the antagonists were fine.
Yeah,
I was
ultimately,
say, like Bosch to me,
Yeah, he's the evil bad guy.
Villain of the episode.
Yeah, he did feel like the villain of the week type of deal.
Eris, the Red Hand, he was very threatening and powerful, but, villain with a motivation to...
He was better than Bosch in the sense of you just got that tired feeling of him wanting to die. And so, like, you saw that coming around. But, yeah, they were all fine.
Yeah.
I probably would have preferred a little bit more personality from one of them. Like, something a bit more eccentric. At least for me, if you're going to have a villain of the week that's just a villain and they're evil for evil's sake, I like them a bit more over the top. Have that
Bosch
bit more
was the closest to
personality.
that,
Yeah. But not enough for me.
It was his over the topness was just the weirdness of his magic.
Yeah. Also, his weird confidence of every fight he gets into, he loses spectacularly. Like, ridiculously bad. Like, it never goes well. He keeps dying
Got his
and
head
losing
chopped off
immediately, and he's then still trying to be intimidating and like,
it's fun.
I'm kind of going, what are you doing, man? Like, Holgren's so much better than you. Why do you keep whatever? All right. So I find that funny, but beyond that,
overall, so you ended up giving it 3-5 good.
They're good characters.
Then want to go into plot.
Yeah.
What'd you give plot out of 5?
2.75.
Oh, somewhat disappointed.
Somewhat.
Go
ahead.
I gave it a 3.5 good.
Yeah, to me, there's the pacing is definitely fast. However, to me, there were certain things of how, because it's so fast, how things are brought up felt pretty forced at times.
Hmm.
So after the beginning section, when we get to basically when Amira is meeting all these new characters,
Yeah.
Holgren felt very forced in the beginning to me. Of, all right, we immediately get the tracking spell, and like, oh, tracking spell has to go meet Holgren, and that was the whole purpose of that tracking spell, and immediately comes in front of the Blood Witch.
The tracking spell also linked into the end with getting the hair from the bandit person, and then I think it was like the show early on, the promise, like, hey, this is something that works, so that we can later in the plot we can use this, that type of thing, you know.
It worked, but in the moment it felt very, oh, we had to meet the magician somehow. It didn't feel as organic. Same thing with just the Blood Witch, or just, all right, just met her on the street. The bald temple person who's following her around, just kind of there.
Well, he showed up a couple times. You know, he was there eyeing her, and she's going, "Who is this?"
Yeah,
the Anat person.
It just didn't feel as organic to me, and so I was like, a little disappointed.
Yeah, it's one of those. Why I did like it is it definitely the plot can feel meandering and just like, okay, we're here. There's a location. So I said Skyrim. I said John Wick. What's another one I could use here? The MMORPG nature of this, right? That's accurate. Okay. That nature of it, where you're going from area to area. What I liked about it was everybody's fixation on the toad, and so everybody had some vested interest, or a lot of parties had some vested interest in getting this toad, and what's so special about it. And we find out the more epic fantasy nature of, oh, apparently there's this can kill a sun, and there's this goddess of horrors, and you see a knot turn into that demon thingy for a bit, and then we have Amira who feels like she has to suddenly kill him, or it gets all this kind of vice out of you when a knot shows up. But I liked how, as we were meeting each of these little factions, it put her in some kind of shtick or problem. So when she, at the midpoint when she was in prison, I like how that was used as the midpoint specifically too, of like, hey, her getting interrogated by what's his name?
Inspector Cluche.
Inspector Cluche. Yes, Inspector Cluche. And her having to wiggle out of that while, okay, look, you know how it has that will the many aspect of it, where Will the Many does it better, I think, but where there's a lot of these people vying for, not her specifically, but the thing she has and the information she has. I always felt like there were many antagonists that were vying to have what she had, and so she was always moving the plot in some direction. So to me, there was always a logical reason why she had to get pulled away and get investigated here. Like, what information do you have? And now that they did this, oh no, she has to go to her mage buddy and get out of this somehow, or go to her so she always had to go to which helped with the theme too. She had to go to a friend in order to solve a problem, which in the end led her to letting her guard down a little bit more and being like, oh, okay. So there's a little bit of that for me. Was there anything like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 portion of this, I guess A, B plot, talking the big macro scope of it, that you didn't like, or was more so just those little moments?
It's the little moments. It's why I wouldn't say it's flawed, because it all makes sense. I would probably, my quibble would be to add a few more chapters, not many, but just make some of the interactions feel a little bit more organic, instead of just, because it felt very much problem to immediate solve. I would have maybe appreciated a bit more layering to it, and problem solving a different one that was handled, and then eventually getting around to, just felt that would feel a little bit more organic to me. But rather than like problem, solution, like just right through.
I guess the big A problem was the toad thing of like, how do we solve that? Mm-hmm. And then all these mini things in between. Where do you think maybe I would have liked a little bit of this? Do you think too slow down a little bit at times, of let it soak in a scene or two?
Because really could have used 1 or 2 slow down chapters with Amira, which I guess the prison one was kind of our slow down moment.
Even that felt kind of fast though.
It was.
I did like how the quick description though, like her and the other prisoner. Her just screaming at him, like, shut up. it goes back to Myra's character. She was done well. Just you see her character, and then
or just
there was
yelling
that-
even more creative,
Yeah.
even more creative examples of how his mother is
Your
dead.
mother's dead. She got ran over by blah, blah, whatever she kept saying to him.
Or also like the prisoner that I thought it was a funny moment of she's getting out of prison and just the other prisoner throws poop at her, and the guard's like, I told you to stop throwing poop at people. What did I say I was gonna do if you did that again? It's like, Amira, stay here and don't move. It's like, I'm not moving. And the guards go in there and just beat his ass. And she's like, you know what? Like, of course I don't feel bad for the prisoner, but I also can't feel that, thankful to the guard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just in this real middle mood. Like, I don't like anybody, but at least it's nice. I'll say it's nice to see the guard beat up that guy for me. That's good.
That's fun.
I know it's not for me, but it's appreciated anyway. I thought that was a funny moment.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. Yes. And what do you think? Because when we're talking about the slow down a little bit or like solve things later, as you're putting it, do you see it the same way we reviewed other SPFBO books, such as Murder at the Spindle Manor, or books like as if does the author feel like they need to keep you engaged in every chapter, like something has to happen in order to not lose your attention? Did you feel a little bit that with this book?
Yeah, especially with that most, like, a problem brought up in the beginning of the chapter is ultimately kind of solved by the end of it. And so it feels a little too, well, I would say like staccato of like beat, and like problem solved, rather than a mixing of all these things of we bring up a bunch of different problems and then solutions kind of filter their way through.
Yeah, I did feel a little bit of both of those in the book. Some got solved quicker, some were more big toward the plot. Like what an example of what would be an example of like a quick solve one? It was the mage stuff of
So there's
this
the
chapter happens, the
mage
next
stuff,
no one
then
goes to get the
prison, the whole prison, like she gets stuck in prison, then just immediately taken out by the the noble. There's the siege of like, okay, we're gonna go capture the mage, and then it's just like, and we've sieged the mansion and we're done. It felt very fast,
questy. Like okay, got it.
I would have appreciated maybe a bit more layering to it.
Yeah, I would have liked a little bit more too. I think over the thing that this one did better for me too is I was very invested in the mystery immediately in the book. So the hook of the story. What did you think about the hook of the story? Did you like the intrigue behind it? What is special about this toad? I mean, it's your MacGuffin item, right? But did you like how it was set up at all?
I think immediately the good hook, because Amira eventually sees it, but I saw it right away. I think the reader's supposed to, is Corbin gets his fingers cut off, and then it showed like he got his fingers cut off at some other point, and then he gets killed right as he gets to his home. That doesn't particularly make sense. Why would they torture him and then kill him right at his house? That doesn't make sense. So it does feel like something else is at play, and so I liked that mystery.
Yes. Yeah, it does do it a little bit extra of now you're asking the question of, yeah, wait, why would anybody do that?
These are probably not the same people.
Yeah. Yeah, that made it a lot of fun. But yes, okay, anything else for plot before world building?
Yeah, let's go into it.
World building, I gave it 3.5. Good.
I did too. 3.5. It asked some fun questions. It left you in a world where it was far more mystical, mysterious. A highlight for me was the graveyard and just everything in there. That the graveyard's guardian of if blood is spilled in the graveyard, that they basically come out and just mog them. Like they kill whoever spills blood in the graveyard. Yep. But then the grave robbers of that also turns people into statues, and so like these graves are actually just full of treasures, and no one has been able to like rob the graves. Those are little fun details of like that's weird. That's really weird to have in a graveyard, and the fact that also she doesn't know this seems like a big deal that most people would be aware of,
Yeah.
and yet not aware of it. Strange.
Yeah. It's a weird mix of epic and absurdist and urban fantasy.
Yeah.
It's all three of those because you got your weird whimsical stuff that is just it makes sense in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's in this thievery world, but at the same time makes it fun. And it's not just the weirdness of it that's interesting. There's genuine questions about the larger world that I'm curious about. So it's even less so about the blade that she got at the end and her MacGuffin item, more so about like the War of the Gods that happened beforehand and how Avis, the Red Hand, being so old and being pre-cataclysm, and the little bit of backdrop we got that she felt so small and insignificant in this world in the same way Liza Locke Lamora, how Locke Lamora felt in that book. You just feel small and then this big world's happening around you. That's what I felt throughout this. That's why I kind of got in her perspective was very micro fantasy, just dealing with immediate problem, but then all around her were more powerful forces, and not just the antagonist, but her friends. Just she felt like the most debuffed in the group of.
Yeah. Her set of skills does not particularly help the situation unless it's like the one thing that she's good at was, sneaking in and stealing things. And she does that once in like before the midpoint.
Yes.
After that, it is her leaning on other people and just like kind of being pulled along for the ride and, trying. She is out of place when it comes to battling gods and demons and magi. And so.
And she even gets surprised every now and then when she's walking back to Holgrid's house, when she's walking back to Holgrid's house and he talks through the wood of the door. Hey, or just stuff you'd expect to be wacky in this kind of world. But where I got more invested was when we met the Anat and the person that was eyeing her a lot. Mm-hmm. And when we met him and he was explaining more the backdrop of why that item's very important. And let me show you why. And gives us that example of him turning into that bestial. I don't know what the correct word would be for that. But that's where it made it more intriguing of, okay, this is a series where there's a wider world out here. If I was to read book 2, I'll be interested I know I can see the whole the overarching plot going on. There's at least a few more
books. Destroy the other 7 MacGuffins type of deal to let the other god out. I'm with you. I also liked the philosopher guy that basically had the god of knowledge talking through the servant and giving and her going, I didn't know you could talk. And it's like, I didn't know the god of secrets, said anything.
Oh, yeah. The god of secrets, more like the god of your silence sometimes.
Yeah. And she's
the god of...
Well, the whole concept of this is a place to store things, of like this is where you, like, it's safe. Things here are safe. You don't accrue interest, but like this place that hoards all of this knowledge, you can go there and ask questions and get things answered, but it's also like a bank where you just kind of just store something and it keeps it secure. And just this kind of god of hoarding knowledge and everything like that was cool. But ultimately, they're very silent. The god is, of course, why would the god talk to you? They keep secrets. And then so it talks to Amira, and she's like, why are you doing this? It's like, well, now you have a secret that I actually talk to people. Keep that a secret, please. It's like, all right.
That was good. Yeah.
All right, God, thanks for the help.
It makes a good bit of humor and action. There was a lot of that. And I think as far as world goes, the atmosphere. That was the most fun part of the world. Like, okay, I'm not going... Okay, there's other book 2s I'm looking forward to where it's, I can't wait to find out that mystery. So the one thing I disliked... The one thing I liked, other than the prose about Empire of Silence when we started Sun Eater, was, okay, the world has me very invested. Now, obviously, that high space opera world, I'm way more invested in this story. But this one... The atmosphere was a lot more fun. It's just the wackiness of it.
I could definitely see there's enough questions in that world where I could see this being a great book 2 to pick up in between some of the other books that we're reading.
It feels easy to get transported back as well. When I was there, I was immersed in this is it's fun. If there's not really, I don't really have a negative. Why is 3.5 not higher? Just more so, hey, it's not comparisons. I'm
sure. it's good.
It's good. I'm not going like, oh my goodness, this world is everything. It's just fun. Yeah. Anything else you have for world building?
No, I just like those details.
What about prose?
I originally had a thought to give it a 2.75, but I think now on reflection of as we're talking through the book, I think it'd be right to say 3.25 ultimately.
I give it a 3.5. Good. Yeah. Most of my ratings were 3.5 here. I had 1.3. So mine was very consistent. I think this book had a overall consistent quality to each of the categories. Personally, I think, it did everything very competently and in a fun way. For the prose, why'd your mind change? What was the thought process for you? Why was it 2.75 at first, now somewhat good?
So now thinking through more of the individual scenes when we're talking about characters and the banter back and forth and how with a steady hand it was done, it wasn't overblown, that I can remember some of those conversations and a few of those lines were funny. It just made
I'm
me
laughing thinking about them too.
So I'm like, oh, yeah, better than I thought.
Yeah.
As I'm going through it, it just felt really quick, and maybe this is to his credit of it felt when I was reading it very fast and to the point, almost when I'm reading it almost too much so of like, oh, a little on the nose. We're moving. But now in hindsight, like that can be done very poorly of where everything is on the nose. Everything's way too quick. Because you're not spending enough time to dance around and like actually show the reader something. But he does a good job of actually showing enough and telling a lot. So it's a good balance.
Yeah, good balance. And as far as,
character voice is also good.
Yeah, character voice is a standout. I think a lot of the quips and dialogue was also fun. And that is a lot of the draw for me. Going back to Amira, I think if we had a different protagonist, I'd not like this book as much.
Sure.
So she was able to pull me along and how she would see the world and her narrative point of view. I keep thinking back to how her house is described, to how she views, we're talking about that prison scene of what she was yelling at. It's not, that's part of her character, but also just the fun things she's saying about him. And just, hey, hold up the scene you described. Hold up a second. Let me go
beat this guy.
And a lot of that, I noticed with the style of the prose. So as you put it, the plot is very quick and very fast. But at the same time, a lot of the sentence structure is very, very short sentence, as in, which keeps the pace kind of fast as well. And I think that this author uses it, Michael McClung, right? Yes, Michael McClung uses it really well. It works with the story very well. I think I mentioned this in Emotional Impact, but it still sticks out to me when she was just describing herself. The narrative was describing herself and saying that, men, they come and go, and look at her house. Like, men come and go, the knives stay. Just something like that. That both it does the prose does multiple things where it does something funny, emotionally hits of what a funny way to put that, but also builds character, and also it does several things at once, and also builds the world. So I feel like a lot of the prose here was both world, atmosphere, and fun, and also character work. Most of the prose to me did both world and characters things, and that was the more impressive part about it. It wasn't just this. Here's your character description. Let me give you all this. Now here's your layer of this. There was info dumps, of course, with the Knot and other characters, but it was few and far between. It was normalized. Yeah.
At worst, the info dump was also done in a more entertaining way, and enough quips along the way that it was not just
what a fun
straight
way to
info dump.
Oh, she would totally put it that way. Oh, of course, this character would do that. Yeah. But at the same time, that why good and not great or better than that. There is still a lot of that. What you felt with the plot, I felt more with the prose sometimes of the staccato, but otherwise, really enjoyed it.
There's also a fun, I like the, I forgot to mention this in the characters, but I'll mention it here at the end, is how many hidey holes she has and how many, how many places that she's paying rent to.
When
she has a lot, damn, she's real paranoid.
She is.
She doesn't have like one home base. She has, I think in this book alone, at least 4.
I'd be surprised 5. If you undercounted that. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And there's plenty more. So you're starting to go like, man, how much money does she have? She makes a lot of money.
Yeah, she does.
But that's now those hidey holes kind of allowed her to go learn new things and go to new locations, but so added to the plot and the world. But it was just also character work of it's hilarious that she has another hidey hole that's just endless.
Yeah, totally.
She's renting out a quarter of the city.
Well, anything else you want to add for The Thief Who Pulled on Trouble's Braids?
Hey, you want a good urban fantasy heist? Urban fantasy, actually, it's not a heist. Urban fantasy, like, what would it be?
Revenge story.
Revenge mystery.
Yeah, revenge mystery.
Yeah.
That's the way I put it.
Go ahead, check this book out.
If you haven't just listened to the whole spoiler section.
You probably listened to it at this point.
We have it 5th out of 8th. We'll see what our last 2 SPFBOs are, which is the next one.
The Lost War.
The Lost War. And
That's
then The
our
Grey
next
Bastards is the last one.
Yep.
So we'll see where does this end up. Will it stay at 5? Then we'll do it after we do all of them. We should do like a little quick, what's our final saying? And what's our final verdict on this?
Sounds good.
All right. We'll see you next episode, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.